Good day, everyone. My name is Arslan, and welcome to my second furniture series, our second video from our furniture series, our realistic furniture. So today we are going to be modeling a chair inside Blender. It's going to be, believe it or not, it's called an easy chair. That's what the name is. So let's quickly get started. Shift and A, delete all one, and Shift and A, image as reference. So where is our reference? Reference. This is our reference, which is the easy chair. Now, there are going to be a lot of different concepts that you are going to be learning in today's video. The first one is how do we scale down the image? This is extremely important. How do we do that? We are going to make a temporary ruler for ourselves, a temporary reference box or a system, and we are going to scale this image according to that system. All right, so check this method out. It's very effective and easy. Shift in A and image and a single word. We have added the single word, and it automatically is added exactly at the the world system 000. So extrude and one, and as you guys can see, the top limit is 73 centimeters and the width is again 73 centimeters. All right, so E and Z. Now we need to set this to 73 centimeters. Done. And E and X and 73 centimeters, and E and Z and 73 centimeters. So this is the temporary reference system that we have made for ourselves. So this is how we scale images. Now, how do we scale it down? Let's bring this right here. No problem. There can be a few, uncertainties, just a few millimeters. That's fine. Now let's press the dot or the full stop on our keyboard and change the pivot to 3D cursor, and the 3D cursor is at the world origin. Alright, so now we scale it down. I think this is it. So because this is how I'm doing it. Now GNX and task number one done. So concept number one, we have scaled down our reference image. Done. Now delete this. So now concept number two, how do we arrange our top left and side views, all right, so that we could reference our image. So G and X and Shift and D, right, Z minus 90, and G and Y. Done. G and Y. Number one is G and X, and we need another one at the top. Shift and D, G, oops, Shift and D, G and Z, right, and Y and 90, nope, minus 90, yes. Back to our top view, so done. So concept number three, the first one is making a temporary system, scaling down the image, and number three is setting our views. Our concept number three is done. So 1, 3, and 7. Fine. Now there's even a few settings that we have to play with, but first let's add our first, let's start making our first element, which is this leg, this support. I think it's called the leg, right? The leg of a chair, or the bottom support of a chair. Shift and A, and make sure you use planes instead of cubes, because in cubes you, in a way, you're complicating your mesh, because later on there's going to be a lot of extrusions and a lot of vertices are going to go here and there. So always make sure to use a plane, because you overall have more control over it, and whatever I'm saying, it's slowly going to make sense once we start modeling. So yes, and all right. So now I only want to see my images in whatever respective view I am in. So click the image and go to right here and choose only align, only axis align. And now you are only going to see your image when you're in that particular view, right? So the opacity can be decreased. So now that is done. Same case for this one, the opacity a bit decreased, and only align axis, that is done. And for this one, let's Boolean line axis, and the opacity can again be decreased. So 7, we'll only be able to see that when we are in top view. So you have learned a lot today, and there are going to be more things coming. So now that task is done. Fine. Now next is start drawing the elements. So edit. Let's go to the wireframe, and we are in vertex selection. Let's go to X-ray, and G and X, G and Z, G and X and G and Z, G and X done. Now G right here. And you know, when you are in a particular view, so one of the axes is automatically constrained, it's locked. For example, we're in front view, so we can move these elements on the X and the Y axis, but the Z is automatically constrained. All right, so that's very good. All right, so now G and now right click and subdivide. Let's subdivide this 8 times because we are going to be using vertices G right here, 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 and where else? I think we don't need that dissolve vertices. That is dissolved. G right here and G right here and G right here. Nope, right here. I think that's how it is. All right, so done. Now another very important concept is this scale right here. You know, in order to avoid problems, there are a few different things you have to do in modeling. The first one is always to fix the scale, so Control A and all transforms, that is fixed. And the other one is your face orientations, right? In simple words, make sure that everything is blue. For example, if we're extruding this, do not extrude on the other side. Otherwise, you're going to be having a lot of problems with your booleans and your bevels and everything. So make sure everything with, I mean, these are the normals, right? The blues are the outsides and the red is the inside. Make sure that your normals are in the correct direction. So that is extruded. Now there's a lot of work. Let's start beveling. So, all right, the scale is fixed. The face orientation is fixed. Now let's start beveling. How do you do this? Control B. Yes, the first one is done. And one Control B. Done. And one Control B. All right, done. One Control B. And done. Now let's go to the bottom. And let's go to our X-ray. So one Control and B. And I love 3D modeling. One and Control and B. And let's one Control B. And one Control B. And no, that's a wrong edge. One Control B. Fine. You know what? Control Z. And let's go to edit. Number one. Why does this seem so long? G. All right. So now one Control B and Control just this light one. Done. So our first element is done. That was fun. Now how do we fix? Our scale is the same, our intuitions, right? So guys, we're done. So now, you know, another very important thing is your UVs. Make sure that you fix your UVs along the array, because later on you'd have to do it anyway. So why not, let's do it right now. And you know, there's a shortcut for fixing your UVs, and it is temporary installing a UV grid on your element. And when you fix that UV grid, and then later on when you apply your image texture or your material, it's it's going to be applied properly. So uh, let's select that. Let's go to UV grid and let's go to new. We need a UV grid. So this is the temporary UV grid. Let's go back to shading. Let's select this and installed. And we have installed a UV grid, all right, as a material, as a temporary material. And so check this UV grid out. Let's close the face. It is so wrong. On one side, it is all stretched. On the other one, it is stretched to on the x-axis. On the other one, in another place, it's stretched on the y-axis. So this automatically tells us that when we apply our material, it is not going to be okay. It is going to be stretched and all wrong, and exactly the way this UV grid is. So this is the shortcut of fixing it. Now, how do you fix this? You can spend hours on fixing your UV textures, but of course it's YouTube and we cannot go for hours. Otherwise the videos are boring. They would be boring. Nobody wants to watch hours of videos. A simple shortcut is select all U, and there are different unwrappings that you guys can do. For the moment, let's just go for Smart and UV unwrap and check out the difference that we have done. There's a huge difference. So check this out. Control and Z, from this to Shift Control Z to this. Control Z and Shift Control and Z. So once this temporary UV grid is fixed and it looks all okay and there's no stretchings and there's no marks, we automatically know that once we apply our material, even that is going to be properly applied. This is the shortcut, all right? So this is another concept that you guys have learned. Now we cannot see what is behind. How do you fix that? Let's go to back. So that's how you see elements which are behind it. Now our image is behind the element. S and Y. Alright, we have again messed up our scale. Control and A and all transforms. G and Y and rotate. And make sure you do not forget to fix your pivot back to individual origins. Otherwise, rotate and scale on the wrong axis. Yes, so our first chair element is done. And look at our modeling. It is perfect, although more time can be spent on it and it can be perfected out. But let's go for this one now. If you want it to be extremely professional, I think you need a bit more time. Let's scale this right here and done. Yes, and S and Y. Yep. Control and A, all transforms. We are done. So 1 and Shift and Z, X and R, Z, 180 and G, and done. So 2 elements from our chair are completed. And does it look fine? Is our modeling to the point? I think it's okay, right? Oh my god, and where is that? G and X and and individual origins. How do we fix this? G and Y. Alright, G and Y and rotate. G and G and Y and rotate and G and Y. So fixed. So 2 elements from our chair are finished, and of course it looks fine, right? It looks fine, and most importantly, our temporary UV grid is also correct. A and Smart UV project. All right, and A Smart UV project. Okay, this is a Smart UV project is sort of a, it temporarily works, right? Of course, if you want to spend hours on this, you can. But Smart UV project, it works. Now G and Y. All right, so that's done. So now element number 2. Let's go to right view, shift in A and plane RY90. Scale it down and shift and Z to wireframe mode 1 for vertex selection. And now let's quickly start modeling this. So G and G and G. Right, so now let's divide this by 3. Is 3 fine? And why didn't it get divided? So select this, select this, and select this, and divide. Yes, now it's divided. G. So G. I mean, now it's just modeling, right? 3. So this is, a better way of modeling. Instead of adding cubes, add planes and then play with the vertices and trace out your shape. So G, G, and G for the moment. Alright, select this and select this and subdivide and G. Alright, G. So G. Alright, that is selected and subdivide and G again. G and alright, now select this and nope, select this and select this and subdivide 4 times. So G and G. Alright, selected and G, G. Okay, so G again. Alright, so we have traced out our model. Now let's get out from our resolution mode and let's press 3 and as I said before, do not extrude on the opposite end. You can't extrude on this side, it has to be on this side, otherwise we are gonna be facing some problems. Now let's go to 1, so select all and G and X, that is done. Now select this face back to 1 and G and X. Oh, that is done. Alright, so this is our model, our progress until now. It looks quite good. Our model is not bad. Check our modeling out. And in order to view it in a better place, let's go to matte cap and let's choose silver. Let's close our face orientations and check our model out. Check our progress. It looks perfect. Of course, if we spend more time on it, the better it is going to get. And we even have 2 legs on behind. I didn't draw those legs, but we're going to use a shortcut, which is the booleans. So the thing about booleans is that once when I was starting 3D modeling, one of my friends told me that when it comes to 3D models, booleans is one of the strongest tools in 3D modeling. And of course, at the start, I didn't believe him because I just told him, yes, you're right. But once I started modeling, it's been about quite some time. I slowly realized that whatever he said was correct. Booleans is extremely powerful, but the thing about Booleans is that you have to master it. Inside Blender, Booleans is powerful, but there's even a few problems that we usually have, which we can fix by a few ways I'm going to tell you. And now let's so we have 2 legs at the bottom, at the back side. Let's quickly make our Boolean shape, and let's set these vertices. So this is the shape, and guys, believe it or not, we're going to use this and we are going to make 2 legs. All right, it may seem impossible right now, but in a little while you are gonna get it. Now the thing about booleans is there are a few checks that we have to do. You know, the first check is the scale. You have to make sure that the default scale, which is 111 for default, that's the default value. It has to be brought back to the default. All right, that's the first check. You know, I'm going to show you in a little while. So the scale is good. From this point on, I have kind of fast forwarded the video a little bit, and this is the second check. Make sure that the normals are in the correct direction. This is very important. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of problems in your models. So, of course, we cannot extrude it on the opposite side, which is that red color. We have to extrude it on the left side. And as you guys can see, our boolean is successful. How handy! Making this shape without the booleans is gonna take some time. I wouldn't say it would be very hard, but it's gonna take time. But with booleans, you know, we have made a complex shape very easily. And you know, in fact, we can even further fix this. For example, if we edit our shape a little bit, so you guys can imagine how powerful booleans is. I mean, with this one shape, we are doing a lot of things. Check this out. So, you know, we had a small problem at the back, but once we edit this box right here, we have fixed that problem. So now whatever, you know, booleans is all about imagination. All right, you have to imagine it and you have to implement it. And you know, there's even a small hole inside the chair, a small gap. Can we make that right here? I think we can. For example, if we put a loop right here and control R. And you know, another important thing is that how do you make sure that you have equal distance loops on both sides? So first of all, you make a loop in the middle, and then shift and control and R, and you would have equal loops on both sides. So this is another extremely important concept that you have learned. We've learned a lot of things today, and now we can give it that desired shape. I think we need another edge loop, and GG is to move that edge loop. Let me quickly fix this. So now, nope, that is wrong. So Control and R and R to put it a bit down, and R, and we need another edge loop right here. And now once we select this, so yes, this is what I wanted. So imagine, you know, with this you can imagine how powerful the Boolean tool is inside Blender or any other 3D software. Look at the shape that we are going to end up with. Doing all of this without the Boolean will take a lot of time. Boolean is a shortcut, but you have to imagine, you know, a lot when it comes to Booleans. Now look at what we have done. This, we have made a complicated shape with just a very, you could say, childish sort of a, you know, I want to say stupid, but just check the shape out. It looks so odd, but you know, it has given us so much work. It has saved so much time. So this is how powerful booleans are once you master it. And make sure to run the checks. The first check is of course the scale, the second check is the normals, and the third check is merging the vertices, all right, which can be done by edit, select all, and M. Now, you know, let's quickly model this. The side hand support. The modeling is going to be the same as before. From this point on, I have fast forwarded the video already because it is taking too long. And you know, you guys can, I hope you can understand that what's happening, and I'm going to tell you what's happening right here. So it's the same thing, adding a plane and adding vertices, subdividing two vertices, and going to the face tool and extruding it on the normal, right, not on the red side, so that we have no problem. So this is an extremely important check. I've modeled a lot of things, and this is where problems are developed. Now it's the bevels to give us that shape. So select the edge and control and B and control and B and rotate. Control and B, control and B and control and B, control and B, control and B, and control and B. Nope, we have selected something else. So it's the same thing that we did previously. All right, giving it that bevel and making sure it trace that image, that reference image. So guys, our supports are done, and I think we have modeled it quite well. But make sure you extrude it on the blue side, on the, I mean, just make sure your normals are correct. So now we rotate and make sure you, during modeling, you're constrained on any particular view. For example, the front or the left or the side. That's how modeling becomes easier. Now let's apply the temporary UV grid material, and as you guys can see, our UV grid is all messed up and it's all wrong. It's on some areas it is zoomed, on some areas it is scaled and it is stretched. And how do you fix this? The same old method, smart UV project, and look at the difference that we've made. So if this temporary grid looks okay, it looks fine, the final texture would automatically looks fine. And you know, when it comes to realism inside your Blender, your UV texture and your lightning, these are the two things which would make a huge difference. So, but again, smart UV project is a shortcut. You can spend hours on this, as I previously said. It takes a lot of time for professional complicated models, and you know, there are even a lot of tools, a lot of paid add-ons that you guys can use. So now let's quickly rotate the left side, left hand support. And you know, we even have an extrusion on the front, which I have forgotten. That extrusion is very important. So how do we do this? Control R and loops, GG to move your control loops, double G, and control Z, that is wrong. And alright, so let's select the faces. And you know, we even have the bevels on our chair, that is left. Our chair looks so low poly, but check the mesh out. The mesh is very clean. You know, that's how models should be. It has less number of faces and it's very clean. Let's use the knife tool so that we could make a face right here. And you know, this is let me say it, it's a wrong way of doing it, but our video has, you know, it has gone too far. It's going to be something 30 minutes. I wanna hit that 30-minute mark. We have a few minutes left, so because otherwise it would get too long. This can be a shortcut, but it's not the right way of doing it. Now let me quickly select these faces because we have run out of time. So now first of all, let's bevel it. So same old method, control the edge, select and select, and control V according to our reference image. So this is how we do it, and the workflow is as previous. So select, control B and select, and control B, and so the opposite side, 3 is the right side and control in 3 is the left side. All right, the opposite side, 1 is front and control in 1 is the back side. So make sure you remember the shortcuts. Let's quickly bevel all our edges and let's finalize our model. We have learned quite a lot of things today. And same old, select edges, control B, make sure they are aligned, control and B, and right now it's top the face. Nope, that is too much because I want it to be equal on both sides. That is too much. Yes, that's enough. So what else? Now we need our extrusion. Let's select and let's select this. And all right. So, and how do you unselect things? Have you ever thought about this? I mean, if you want to select things, it's just shift and left click, right? You unselect things by control and left click. So that's another, another shortcut for you guys. Uh, Control and left for unselect. So this is the extrusion that I wanted to do. And look at our model. We have improved it quite a lot. It looks a lot better right now. And again, Smart UV project to fix our models. We can even manually do it, um, but it needs a lot of time. Let me quickly fix these. So when the temporary grid looks perfect and fine, the future, I mean the texture which we are going to apply later on is also going to be fine. That's a shortcut to perfect UV mapping. And how did this side change? Nope, we do not want this. I think I'm going to Control Z, Control Z. How did, I think it's because of our extrusions, isn't it? So Control Z, Z, Z. Yes, that is the wrong selection. So this is how we are gonna, this part shouldn't be selected, isn't it? So select again and select again, select again, select again, and Alt and E and extrude individual faces. That's how you do it. Yes, so let me first check our selections and Alt E. Yep, perfect. So now I think we are on the right track. So we've extruded that part. Now, all right, let me quickly fix the UV. So check our UVs out. It looks, I think it looks very good for the amount of time that we have spent on it. And let's add our wood material quickly. Control Shift and T while the principal node is selected. So this is our material. I'm going to mute the displacement. We do not want the displacement for the moment. And let me delete that shape. So now I think it's the final setup, the final studio lighting and the setup. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it. It was quite fun making it, and we learned quite a few different concepts. And another important thing is the color management. Make sure it is filmic and high contrast. High contrast is going to give you a lot of realism. That's an important step. And now it's just adding the lighting and making sure the camera is correct. And the samples, set it to 400 and check our modeling. It looks perfect. Check our chair. It looks quite realistic and good. So now let me add rest of the materials. And if our temporary grid is fine, if it looks fine, even the material is going to be applied perfectly. So this is our 3D final model, and for the amount of time I've given it, it looks quite good. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and hope you learned something from it. Make sure to stay tuned with me for more interesting videos, and have a nice day. And I'm going to include the final renders in the end. Now it's just playing with the lighting and making sure that our renders turn out to be good. So have a good day.